something surprising is happening in San Francisco, and it's catching every 49ers fan off guard. Just when it seemed like the defense had everything under control, the team made another unexpected move. And trust me, there's a reason behind it that could shape the rest of their season. Welcome to the channel, the home for true 49ers fans and NFL lovers. Today, we've got breaking updates coming straight out of San Francisco. The Niners have added another defensive end to their lineup, aiming to strengthen their pass rush and fill a major gap on the roster. Before we dive deeper into the latest moves and trade buzz, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any 49ers updates. Alright, let's move on to the new news. The 49ers have officially signed Clelin Ferrell to their practice squad, a familiar face for Niners fans. Ferrell started opposite Nick Bosa back in 2023 when San Francisco made its run to the Super Bowl. He's a veteran who knows the system, and right now, the 49ers need bodies on that defensive line, badly. Here's why. When Travis Gibson was taken off the Niners practice squad and picked up by the Panthers, it left the team with just two healthy defensive ends, Robert Beal and Mike Williams, heading into a long trip across the country to face the New York Giants. That's not enough for a defense that prides itself on constant pressure. So, these latest roster moves, including bringing in Keon White and re-signing Clelin Ferrell, aren't flashy or headline-grabbing, but they're necessary. The Niners needed to act fast to keep their defense balanced and ready for the next game. Now, yes, Ferrell's name comes with mixed memories. He was once the 4th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft by the Raiders, a move many people questioned back then. But here's the truth, that wasn't his fault. He was simply taken too early in the draft. Still, he's battled, learned, and proven that he's got something to offer, and this could be his chance to show it in a familiar environment. The question now is, can Ferrell make an impact this time around and give the 49ers defense the boost they need? Stay with me, because things in San Francisco are starting to get very interesting. It's almost hard to believe how things have turned around for Clelin Ferrell. Remember when the Raiders shocked everyone by taking him 4th overall in the 2019 draft? That was during the Mike Mayock and John Gruden era, a time full of bold, sometimes confusing decisions. Ferrell was a solid player at Clemson, no doubt about that, but the 4th pick? That felt like a stretch then, and time has proven it. But here's the twist. While Ferrell didn't live up to the top 5 pick tag in Vegas, he found a much better fit in San Francisco. In 2023, he quietly became a reliable part of the 49ers defense, starting all 17 games and finishing with 3.5 sacks. Under defensive line coach Chris Kukurek, he was used smartly, shifting between defensive end and defensive tackle, and he thrived in that flexible role. At 6 feet 4 inches, 265 pounds, Ferrell fits the mold the Niners love: big, strong, and adaptable. That's the kind of defensive end who can also slide inside and battle against slower interior linemen, the ones who struggle against quicker, more explosive rushers. With the team signing him back to the practice squad, there's a strong chance he'll be bumped up to the active roster right away. And honestly, they might need him immediately. Look at the situation: Bryce Huff, Nick Bosa, and Yetur Gross-Matos all sidelined, Travis Gibson gone to the Panthers, and depth running thin. The Niners had no choice but to act fast. By adding Keon White and bringing back Clelin Ferrell, they've given themselves two powerful, versatile players who can hold down both the edge and the interior. This kind of move is exactly what great teams do: they adjust. They don't panic, they plan. And right now, the 49ers are doing everything possible to fix a major issue before it costs them another game. Remember that nightmare performance against Houston? 10 pressures. 0 sacks. C.J. Stroud had so much time in the pocket he could have made lunch before throwing. That simply can't happen again. With the Giants matchup just 4 days away, San Francisco had no time to waste. The defense needed help, and now, with Ferrell and White stepping in, we might see the spark this unit has been missing. Stay with me, because the next few days could tell us a lot about where this 49ers defense is really headed. The 49ers are making quiet but smart moves, the kind that don't make headlines but can completely shift a team's season. One of those moves is bringing in Keon White, and honestly, this could turn out to be a steal. Think about it. The Niners gave up almost nothing to get him. This guy was a second-round pick just last year, and he's still loaded with potential. In New England, under the new Mike Vrabel-style system, he just didn't fit. But that doesn't mean he lost his talent. Even Patriots fans were scratching their heads, wondering, why did we let this guy go for so little? Now he's in San Francisco, a place that knows how to use versatile, powerful athletes like him. Last season, White showed he could line up anywhere along the defensive front and still make an impact. Over 460 snaps at edge, he had a solid pressure rate. When shifted to defensive tackle, that rate jumped even higher. The man simply knows how to win his one-on-one battles. At 6 feet 4 inches with explosive athletic ability, he's built like a weapon. His numbers speak for themselves: 30 reps on the bench press, a 34-inch vertical, and a 4.79-second 40-yard dash at his size. That's rare power and speed in one frame. He reminds me of players like Charles Omenihu or Arden Key, big, quick, and able to create havoc from multiple positions. And let's not forget, last year in New England, Keon White led the team with 5 sacks and 45 pressures, earning a strong pass rush grade. Those are real, proven results, not potential on paper. Meanwhile, the Niners had to make a few roster adjustments to bring him in. Offensive lineman Drew Moss was released from the practice squad. Tough break for a young player who showed promise during preseason. The team also released Brandon Parker and added Andre Dillard, a familiar face returning from injury. Here's the bigger picture: these aren't just random roster shuffles. Moves like these send a message: San Francisco isn't giving up. They're not waving the white flag on the 2025 season. Instead, they're fighting to keep this roster competitive, sharp, and ready to make a push. Every small change, every new signing, it's part of a bigger plan. And if Keon White performs the way many believe he can, this could be one of the smartest low-key pickups of the year. Stay with me, because the next chapter of this story might surprise you even more. The 49ers are sending a clear message: this team is not giving up. There's no wait until next year mindset, no talk of rebuilding or punting on the season. Instead, San Francisco is standing tall at 5-3, showing belief in its roster and commitment to winning right now. And honestly, that's exactly how it should be. This team isn't built to quit. Veterans like George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Trent Williams are out there giving everything they've got every single week. You can't look those guys in the eye and say, "We'll try again next year." They fought too hard for that. The younger players deserve better too. They need that playoff experience, those big game moments that turn talent into leadership. These latest roster moves aren't about survival. They're about belief. They're about saying, we still have a shot, and we're taking it. By bringing in players like Keon White and Clelin Ferrell, the Niners are balancing the present with the future. They're building depth and confidence while still aiming for something big this season. And with White's contract running through next year, this isn't just a short-term patch, it's a step towards sustained success. But while the roster moves speak volumes, another story is beginning to heat up, one that could shake up the locker room. Rumors are flying around about Jauan Jennings and the possibility of a trade. Kyle Shanahan was asked about it. Jennings himself was asked about it. The question now, could the 49ers actually move one of their toughest, most reliable receivers before the deadline? Stay with me, because what's happening next might surprise every 49ers fan out there. Now this is where things get really interesting. With the NFL trade deadline just around the corner, one name has suddenly caught everyone's attention: Jauan Jennings. The rumor mill started spinning fast when ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported that Jennings, after not getting the new deal he wanted in the offseason, had once asked for a trade. It's a surprising twist, especially for a player who's been such a quiet, reliable force for San Francisco. Remember, last season Jennings was a key contributor, closing in on a 1,000-yard year in 2024. But this time around, things haven't gone the same way. Through the first half of the season, he's sitting fifth in receiving yards on the team with just 212 yards. For a player with his grit and playmaking ability, that's definitely below expectations. So, the question being asked across the NFL is simple: could Jauan Jennings be on the move? When head coach Kyle Shanahan was asked about it, his answer was short and strong. I would be very surprised if Jauan Jennings wasn't on our team. That sounds like confidence, but it doesn't completely shut the door either. Because in the NFL, surprises happen fast, and when the trade deadline hits, nothing is guaranteed. Jennings himself spoke on the situation inside the locker room, and his response showed nothing but loyalty and heart. He said he loves playing for this team, loves sharing the field with guys like George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, and Christian McCaffrey, and that everyone in that locker room just wants to contribute and win. That doesn't sound like a player begging to leave. It sounds like a man who still believes in his team, even while rumors swirl around him. So here's what it all comes down to. Is this just outside noise, or is something really brewing behind the scenes in San Francisco? Stay with me, because the truth about Jauan Jennings' future might be closer than anyone thinks. Jauan Jennings has always been known for his toughness, the kind of player who fights for every inch, blocks like a lineman, and never backs down from contact. That's why this season feels so different. His numbers tell part of the story: 18 catches, 212 yards, and 1 touchdown. But behind those stats is a player battling through shoulder, rib, and ankle injuries, all while carrying the frustration of wanting a new contract. It's understandable. Injuries wear you down physically, but the contract tension adds a heavy mental weight too. Jennings reportedly wanted a deal or a trade, and that frustration has shown at times. But here's the thing, for years, he's been one of San Francisco's most underrated weapons. His fearless attitude earned him the nickname, Third and John, because when the game was on the line, he was the guy who showed up. The Niners recognized that too. After his breakout season, they tore up his old deal and rewarded him with a new contract heading into last year. That's not something teams do often. They believed in him. They saw his fire, his leadership, and his impact on the field. But lately, something's been off. His body language hasn't been the same, and his connection with Kyle Shanahan seems to have cooled. Reports of tension on the sidelines, especially during that Buccaneers game, painted a picture of a player who looks more frustrated than focused. The drops, the misplays, the visible anger, it's not the Jauan Jennings fans have come to know. And that's the real issue here, not just performance, but attitude. Because talent alone doesn't get you paid in the NFL, consistency and professionalism do. Jennings has the chance to flip the narrative. If he rediscovers that spark, that toughness, and that hunger that once made him a difference maker, he can still write his own comeback story. The 49ers need that version of Jauan Jennings, the clutch one, the emotional spark, the player who fights for every play like it's his last. And if he brings that back, the contract he's looking for will take care of itself. Stay with me, because this story isn't over yet. The next few games could decide not just Jennings' future, but the direction of this entire 49ers offense.